Good evening guys, F4H Rosso here with another video on GT Sport, and it's the one I've been waiting to do for a little while, this one. It's the Nurburgring Circuit Experience video, and we're going to help you guys, as we did with Bathurst and the Alsace Village, get the gold medals on this notoriously difficult track. It's going to follow the same format as the last videos, with us basically watching the replay from the in-car view, then the replay cam, and then we're going to break it down from a third-person view. The only difference being is I'm going to split this into a 4-part series. I think doing them all in one go is going to be a bit heavy for one video. So we're going to do the first 3 sectors in today's video. The second 3 sectors we'll tackle either tomorrow or on Friday, and then so forth until the final video where we do the whole lap. With the whole lap, I'm not going to break it down into sectors. It will probably just be a replay. I think that would probably be a bit overkill if we've already broken down the sectors sector by sector. One extra added bonus, I guess, with this video is that every time that you will see that I've recorded and submitted is a world top 10 time. So hopefully these tips will help you guys improve and get to where we want to be with those gold medals for everyone concerned. So hopefully you enjoy the video, guys, and I'll see you when we break down the first sector. Okay guys, so let's have a quick look at how that first sector was done. We're going to take a look from the third-person camera in all of these. It just makes it easier to see where we are relative to the track, and you'll notice that we've done that in the previous circuit experience vids that we've done so far on this channel. A bit about the car before we start. I've got the traction control set to 2. It just makes the car easier to manage out of the corners, allows you to get on the power nice and early, maximise your speed between the the sequences of corners. And I've got the brake balance set to 2 rearwards. It just helps the rear rotate through a lot of the corners on the circuit. So we're going to approach the first turn. And you'll notice on the right hand side, just in front of the car here where we've paused it, the wall changes colour. You need to be braking right there and shifting down into 2nd gear to take the first corner. As soon as you kiss the apex on the inside, you want to be straight back on the power. You will go out towards the outer curb, but there's quite a lot of runoff there for you to use. So don't be afraid to be greedy on the power coming out of here. The car will stick. It just basically gives you the best run possible down to the next corner. You see we use the runoff there. Now, placement of the car here is very important. You want to be taking an early shift into 5th gear and getting the car over to the left as quickly as you possibly can. This next corner can be taken flat out, but there is no margin for error. If you do not get the right line, you are going off on the left hand side. And you'll see how we take it here. There's that nice early shift into 5th, gets us round there just about. You'll notice that as we go around the corner and hit the outside, we do dip 2 wheels onto the grass, but luckily there's a tiny little curb there that keeps you on the straight and narrow. very difficult sequences of corners, this. You kind of need to kind of forget about the left-hander existing because you're braking really for the right-hander. You'll see a patch of grass on the right here. As soon as you're past that, just there, we're hitting the brakes and angling the car in towards the second corner. We're going to take a chunk of this curb on the left-hand side. The car will ride it quite nicely. A little lift off the brakes to straighten the car up and straight back on to set yourself for the right-hander. Again, once you hit the apex, you want to be back on the power. You will run out naturally, as we did in turn 1, towards the outside. But again, the car will stick, and there's a nice little curb there, just in case you do run off out wide. A common theme with this first sector is, because it's kind of like a 2-corner sequence, then a small straight, 2-corner sequence, then a small straight, you want to be maximising those runs out of those corners as best as possible. For this next left, right, left sequence, the left is flat. We want to be taking a dab on the brakes, and if we have, I would recommend probably not switching up to 4th gear, but if you have, you need to be back down in 3rd as you're going over this first right-hander. Again, nice liberal use of the curb on the inside. Take plenty, because it sets you up nicely for the left-hander afterwards. A rule of thumb with chicanes is you want to be making them as straight as you possibly can for the fastest line through. So that use of the curb on the right-hand side basically enables us to take a nicer line through the left, which in this sequence of corners is the corner that matters, because that's the one that leads onto the straight afterwards. So a little dab on the brakes mid-corner will get us in nicely for this left, and again, as we hit the apex, straight back on the power. For the last sequence of corners, a nice big dab on the brakes as the tarmac changes colour. Keep in 3rd gear, avoid the curb on the inside because it picks up the front right wheel and compromises your run out of the corner. So you see we get really close to the curb but don't quite touch it. And again, as you apex, straight back on the power, and a nice clear run down to the finish. Okay, so next up it's time for the dreaded floodplaats section of the circuit, the double right-hander up here, which has claimed many a car in the both virtual and real worlds over the years. Very difficult one to master, this one, and probably took me the most time to get the top 10 time on. You want to be getting, obviously self-explanatory really, over to the left-hand side here, cresting the hill. The car, well, the front of the car will go light, as you probably saw in the replay. You get 2 wheels off the ground. Basically, as soon as you regain control of the car, you want to be aiming for that inside curb. Don't fully come off the throttle. You want about a 3/4, kind of like a bleed off the throttle. It gets the front end of the nose in, and as soon as you're past basically the first apex, you want to be straight back on the power. The car will run out. It takes a few times to master this one. You probably won't get this straight away, but you will get there eventually. So we'll see how it's done. quick bleed off the throttle and straight back on. You'll notice basically you run right out to the outside there. You want to be aiming for that white line. You'll get a little bit of a rumble through your controller or wheel when you know you've done it correctly. Just avoid that grass on the outside, because if you do get the two wheels on there, you are a passenger. You're looking for an exit speed here of about 145, 146 miles an hour. That's when you know you're cooking. Not much to do for the next probably 10 seconds or so. As soon as you crest the hill, you want to be changing up to 6th gear. Because we're going downhill, a nice early shift up into 6th helps the car, pick up speed. It would be different, if we're going uphill or if it was on the flat, but the nice early shift probably gains you about a mile an hour as you crest this hill just down here. So we'll just pause just here. So obviously we're making our way over to the right hand side of the circuit for the left-hander. Usually in my circuit experience videos I recommend the use of cone markers. Now it's quite different on the Nurburgring, because the cone markers, the nature of the Nurburgring means you use a lot of curb, and the cone markers tend to be sat right on top of those curbs, and there's no better representation really than this corner here. The cone is basically right on the apex, so make sure you turn them off, because if you do hit that cone you are going flying. So two wheels over on that curb on the left hand side, you see basically if the cone was there we'd be dead. Straight over, back to the left and onto the brakes. Basically as soon as you get the car straight you need to be on the brakes, down from 6th right the way into 3rd. The best line here is kind of a wide entry but a tight line. It's the fastest way around the corner. It allows you to get on the throttle the earliest as well. So basically just as we have paused this, I am back on the throttle. You can hear. Right out wide onto the curb. Don't waste your time changing up. We've gone back into the menu, but I'll keep talking anyway. Don't waste your time changing up there. It will cost you time rather than save you any. So on to the third and final sector of today's video, the last stage. Again, quite a difficult one, but one that I'm quite proud of this one, because we managed to get first place in the world on this one. Relatively straightforward run down the hill. Just make sure you're taking the shortest line possible. Use plenty of curb. And just basically try and avoid, if you are using traction control, clipping the traction control and losing speed. Or getting onto the grass or anything like that. It can get quite narrow through there. Very, 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 very difficult corner this. It's blind, it's over a crest. The curb on the inside is massive, so it unsettles the car. Basically here, you'll see a patch of grass just on the right hand side. As you hit that patch of grass, you want to be jamming on the anchors, down 2 gears into 4th. Pray for the apex, it will be there. You just got to kind of, I guess, trust your instincts and really straddle the curb. And we're down in 4th gear. We're going to take a quick blip of the power, but then we're going to be straight down into 3rd for the right-hander that follows. Again, a quick blip of the power as we're exiting the corner. And again, straight back onto the brakes. So basically, for this sector, as soon as you're through the corner, we're basically, for all 3 kind of sections, we're taking a quick blip on the power as soon as the car is straight. So basically we're using the power to straighten the car. As soon as the car is straight, we're straight back on the brakes, So really the power isn't to kind of maximise our speed, it's more to set us up and settle the car for the next assault by corner basically. So through the left-hander, straight line it again as much as possible here. So we're going to be using a lot of that curb on the right-hand side. Again, a quick blip of the power. And we're down into second gear at this point. We're using second because it basically gives you the best run out of here possible. You'll hear me take a nice short shift as soon as we hit the curb on the left-hand side. Rather than using fourth, we're going to hold third right the way to the line. It gives you the best drive all the way to the line. There's no point changing up to third. Kind of like the last sector where there's no point changing up to fourth. It just costs you time. So nice short shift there and a straight run to the line. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you found it helpful and enjoyable, mostly. I really enjoyed making this one. It's been one, as I said at the start, that I've been looking forward to making for a while now. As I said earlier, the next installment will be coming either tomorrow or Friday, time permitting. If I can, I will get it out tomorrow evening at roughly the same time. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a comment, like, or even a quick subscription. I know I mentioned this in most videos, but really appreciate the subscriptions that I've gotten recently. We've gone, since I started making content for GT Sport, we've gone from a measly 30 subs and we're almost at 100 now, so it's been absolutely amazing to see the support and people enjoying and liking the videos. It's been really nice. That's all from me, guys. As I said, thanks ever so much, and we'll see you tomorrow or Friday for the next crack at the Nurburgring. Cheers!